My mother, myself. My mother was an orphan, Catholic, 6 children, worked all her life. My sisters, 4, diverse as flowers and weeds, bright, all bright. Madonna of heart, environmental activist, 6 children, alive. Pauline worked on yachts around the world, set up a farm, died. Teresa worked the tax department, married, 2 children, retired. Bernadette, a ballerina, ballroom dancer, mother doting on her daughter. So even in these patriarchal times, I saw by example how goddesses survive hard earth lives, how they thrive in otherwise violent times. For my father was of his Depression generation, a violent man. I worked with him on the wars, was beaten, slapped and punched around. He worked hard for his family, drank heavily for despair. Oh, he was lonely, he was angry, knowing only that only education could make his children get somewhere. My godmother, Mrs. Long, we knew her in her dotage out to lunch. My grandmother drove people round her green Morris Minor sedan. She tinkled the ivories with her shining Irish smile. I remember her as light. I looked up to her, cheerful vibrations as she entertained patients in hospitals. Now, Irish are a down-to-earth people. Catholics worship the Madonna. They pray to the Virgin Mary. They pray often. They pray hard, for life in poverty is second-hand and thin, always harder on women. I had a choice, to follow in my father's footsteps or learn from my mother's path. As she was dying, she shared her stories of growing up, first in an army camp, then in housing commission shelters. Poverty is a hard master and a worse mistress. She came through this via duty and devotion to her children. When she divorced our father, she saved up and bought her own house with her own wages. We were allowed to visit, but she had paid for her autonomy and urged us all to work for our own powers. This is no fairy tale, no fantasy. These are living people and their ghosts, each finding their own paths. When people speak of goddess, I think of my mother, grandmother, godmother, sisters, and all the women I've learned from. As they learn from peers, elders, ancestors, there will always be someone to look up to and respect, not necessarily Madonnas, virgins, saints, nuns, witches, or wise women. Each a different flower in the garden, each petal flower beaming for your eyes to see them as they really are in this life, alive, 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 and goddesses dreaming.